while in the background, numerous images of the child are shown, including many in which Pedro has photoshopped their faces together with more hearts and loving messages, with one even showing both of them together, shirtless. This to me
Jail's not enough no more, bro. You gotta motherfucking no scope this, bro. Bro, you gotta get this off the plane and like wipe him, expunge, expel, like exile, motherfucker, eviscerate, bro. Like it's not enough, gang. Y'all have been recommending me this video like crazy, so I hope it's good. It's called Jesse Nimajapol, an internet rabbit hole. I don't know who bro is. I don't know nothing about it, but Nick Crowley made it, so I think it'll be quality. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with this video and how, like, who this person is. But let's go. We gotta make it darker in this.
Missing persons report. 18-year-old Jesse Giovanni Nimajapol was reported as missing to the Denison Police Department. He was last seen on July 14, 2017, in the city of Denison, Iowa, and his disappearance is considered involuntary.
There's already going to be some creepy.
This report was created on New Year's Day 2020 on the website Name Us, a platform designed to help resolve missing, unidentified, and unclaimed persons cases nationwide, with the hope being that someone out there, anyone, might—
He's 18? I'm not lying and I think bro was 18.
Know what happened to this man. It wasn't the first mention of Jesse's case in the online world.
Like 30, like
despite being an incredibly obscure mystery, several sources had brought attention to his disappearance in the past, one of which being the official state website of Iowa, though each had gone without resolution, and they all shared a distinct similarity. They were almost entirely void of context. There was essentially no information about who Jesse was and what led up to his disappearance, aside from the mere mention that it was believed to have been involuntary, meaning law enforcement assumes he was kidnapped or perhaps even killed. It's a missing persons case that admittedly comes across as hardly noteworthy, as the lack of information leaves us with seemingly no story to tell. But this is only on the surface, as years after this report was made, a Redditor began to peel back the layers of Jesse's case, which eventually led them to his various social media accounts, and in turn, a slew of depraved and unexplainable content that morphed this case from a seemingly standard disappearance into one of the strangest internet mysteries in recent memory. This is the
there's gotta be some crazy for him to make a whole video just on this dude who's missing, bro. There has to be some crazy at this guy.
Disturbing story of Jesse Nimajapol and the internet rabbit hole he left behind.
Nick Crowley presents Jesse Nimajapol. Are you ready, nigga? Cause you better be.
My bad, bro.
We will return after these messages.
There's always that one user, the one who shares an intriguing mystery only to disappear mid-thread, leaving you with countless unanswered questions, which makes it feel like you can now never solve this mystery. Weirdly, I used to feel that way about healthcare, like I was just guessing my way through the—
Yo, I'm getting better at noticing the ads before they happen like that. W-ad, bro, W-ad, but you know we gotta skip those. This video contains theories and speculation based on a small amount of information publicly available. Not everything is proven until the month. It's Jesse.
Although Jesse Nimajapol's disappearance garnered very little public attention, there were a select few—
As soon as I saw bro's face, I knew it was gonna be a sponsor. Yo, when I start integrating ads in it, y'all better be saying W too. Hey guys, today we're gonna be like—
no more, as despite there being a glaring lack of context within these reports, there were several things that stood out as unusual. Within the nicknames and known aliases section, there were 3 names listed: Juan Carlos Samay Nimaja, Daryl Jamal Brown, and Reynaldo Alterio Colon, which was a surprisingly high number of aliases for someone just 18 years old. And on the topic of his age, something about this felt off. He appeared older than 18, with his face looking like that of a full-grown adult rather than a teenager.
But I don't want to come for nobody, because there's some who's like 25 and they look like they're pushing 60. Like, I ain't gonna hold. Some people be aging different. Like, some people look like they younger than they is, and some people dead look like they on their last breath. So, like, it just depends.
This combination of strange factors inspired Reddit user Tawny Frogmouth to dig deeper, leading to the discovery that despite there being very little information about Jesse in the public reporting, there were other traces of him across the internet, with Jesse himself being fairly active across social media, including having his own channel right here on YouTube. The account was simply named Jesse Namajapal and showed the 18-year-old performing various songs and dances in his native language of Spanish.
You're making videos like this like 2006, man. But okay, as long as he having fun.
These uploads were met with hardly any viewership, as Jesse certainly wasn't a well-known performer, despite dubbing himself as the voice of Central America in his descriptions, which is where Jesse was likely born before immigrating to the US and settling down to go to school or work in Denison, Iowa, which actually isn't as uncommon as it may seem thanks to their large-scale meat processing industry. And while posting videos of yourself singing and dancing is nothing out of the ordinary for a teenager, there were some peculiar details that stood out when looking through Jesse's content, with the first being his appearance. Much like his missing persons photo, he doesn't really look like—
It doesn't look like Oliver Tree, man. He look like 2009 Justin Bieber, bro. What? Like, I ain't even know, bro, had the cuts like those.
Like a teenager. Is on the rare occasion where he shows his full face, you can tell he looks quite old for his age. Though it's difficult to say for sure. The quality of these videos is extremely poor, and he's almost always wearing large, brightly colored sunglasses that cover much of his face. But these sunglasses and the outfits he wore only drew more skepticism, as despite looking older, he dresses in a way that almost makes it seem like he's trying to appear younger, this is what an older person might think a teen would wear. But we'll come back to this later, as this was far from the strangest detail found on the channel. It's easy to overlook at first, but once you notice it, it changes the entire perspective of this case. As when you look at the date in which these videos were uploaded, every single one of them was posted in 2018, the year after Jesse was last seen.
What the f?
It makes no sense and poses two questions. Are we sure this account actually belongs to Jesse? Well, despite having the same name and appearing like the same person, his videos also shared crudely edited slideshows that displayed pictures while he sang. And in one of these images, we see Jesse dressed in the same exact outfit in the same exact location as his missing persons photo. This is certainly him, or at least videos of him, prompting the second major question.
The video seemed like it was taken a long time ago though, bro. There's no way in 2018 taking videos like this, bro.
Could this be someone using older clips of Jesse? It seems possible at first, but these videos were all posted as if they were from Jesse's perspective, who again had no semblance of a career in entertainment. And it's not like they were being shared to help promote search efforts for him, as there's not a single mention of him being missing throughout any of the uploads. And the further we go down this rabbit hole, the more unlikely this whole train of thought becomes, which you'll soon start to realize, leaving us with one bizarre truth, that Jesse was the one posting these videos, and he was doing so while being a missing man, who is presumed to have been kidnapped or killed. In fact, even to this day, his listing remains active, yet here he is dancing and singing like nothing ever happened. It's clear that cracks were beginning to form, and nothing about this case was what it seemed. And this wasn't even the final discovery to come from Jesse's YouTube channel, with the next taking us down a new and far more unsettling path. As mentioned previously, Jesse would often include slideshows edited over his songs, with these photographs sometimes depicting himself, but more often than not, they actually showed other people, and specifically, other young boys.
Jesse, let me find out that you was a disciple of EDP, a disciple of Smart Schoolboy 9. Let me find that out, gang. Like, why you got young boys on there? Like, you know, just because he pointed that out, he pointed out very specifically, but let me not, like, assume anything, though. Bro, they record this on iMovie. Or he edited it on iMovie at least. Movie star.
His channel is filled with images of children who appear to be preteens or even younger, with these accounting for the vast majority of the pictures he shared, including his very own profile photo, which shows a child sitting on the steps of a swimming pool. Strangely, none of these children look anything like Jesse, and they clearly aren't him at a younger age, and also he's not featured in any of them, with it appearing highly unlikely that these are his own children. Instead, they appear to have been taken from various children's social media pages, while some seem to be more candid, perhaps even being taken by Jesse himself, who included them in these videos for unknown reasons, almost as if he was infatuated by them. And the further you follow his online trail,
it's gonna go exactly how I think it's about to go, bro. Like, this is missing and it's on some freak shit, bro. He said he still have his small schoolboy down, bro. I ain't gonna hold, bro. It's GG's game. The world really cooked. They couldn't catch one fat wearing clown makeup.
the more unsettling this all becomes. Along with his YouTube channel, Jesse also appeared to have been somewhat active on Twitter, where he created an account back in April of 2018, with all of his posts coming nearly a full year after he was last seen in Denison, Iowa. Here, Jesse shares another video of him singing, along with a selfie, which gives us a better look at his face. A face that, again,
not 18, bro. Like, this is at least, at the bare minimum, 32 years old. And that's being generous.
Seems to show an adult.
Bro.
And interestingly, on this account, Jesse does admit that his age isn't actually 18, though this admission only makes things more unusual. I am a boy model and dancer-singer. I am 13 years old.
Alright, gang. Yeah, you a smart schoolboy archetype. Yeah, talking about like, 13 years old.
This was written in his bio, and taken even further in an image he shared which depicted a young boy, with Jesse writing, "My new photo. I am handsome." For whatever reason, after his disappearance, Jesse was online pretending to be a child, and digging a bit deeper, this strange behavior was nothing new. As mentioned earlier, Jesse was a man with many aliases, with 3 being included in his missing persons report. But this was only the tip of the iceberg, as online he went by a slew of different names, which would be later uncovered as in virtually all of them, he included his last name, Namajapal. It turns out this name is incredibly uncommon, as when searched online, most of the results lead to pages connected to Jesse, which operated before his disappearance, with one of the most common first names he used being Adexi. Shortly before the time he went missing, Jesse started an account on LinkedIn under that same alias.
Why are you on LinkedIn? You know you wasn't getting no jobs, bro.
Which included the same last name and middle name as those initial reports. And on that page, he wrote under his job title, "I am a child.
Damn, this video really scary.
My parents support me." While in the education section, he claimed to be a 4th grader, studying at an elementary school.
What the
Account, he featured just one post, which again showed a random child that he again claimed to be.
You're a child on
This
LinkedIn.
behavior is prevalent all throughout Jesse's online trail, as account after account shows evidence of him posing as a child, either by outright stating to be, or by using children in his profile pictures, as well as throughout his videos.
It's so weird because it's so inconsistent about the children too. Like, it's not even the same child at all. It looked like it just looked like straight children that he's collecting, bro.
Why this is shaping into a massive red flag, but it all leads to perhaps the most important question of all. Why? Well, though his motivations are never outright stated, there are some clear themes throughout his content that point towards one obvious yet sinister intention.
You trying to look young, bro.
Jesse's content is unusual, this we already know, but there's a whole other side to it that we have yet to discuss, as many of Jesse's accounts feature overtly sexual posts.
Hey, yo! Yeah, Jesse, you a freak boy. I ain't gonna hold, bro. You over here on Triller shaking butt for the youth. Yeah, you a weirdo, Jesse. I ain't gonna hold. Stay missing, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, gang.
These will often come in the form of strange videos and images showing Jesse doing erotic dances and poses, including very intentionally showing off his groin area, as well as his own nude images with his hand covering his genitals.
This
content
40,
is straight
bro.
up pornographic in
Hey,
nature,
yo, get this
which is
on my
highly
screen.
disturbing as it's often placed aside images of children, and on accounts where Jesse is claiming to be a child.
I don't know how this Nick Crowley has the mental fortitude to go through all these videos and photos and look at all this shit. I couldn't watch no grown man shake butt. No, like, I don't know. We was wearing some booty shorts or tutu. I don't know. Sup, Tube? What's up, man? Oh, that don't hit like that. Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, bro. Hey. Bro, just come to Twitch. Twitch Blue Ride right here. Follow up. We're about to hit 200K. Please follow up and stuff like that. Come to the stream. If you don't watch streams, I didn't ask. Come to the streams and stuff like that. And then there's a gaming channel and a live channel. Come follow the live channel too. And then yeah, you can get back to your video and stuff like that. But just go ahead and do that. And it's in the link down below. And yeah, go ahead and do that.
Recipe for disaster, and is extremely reminiscent to other cases we've covered in the
Ew.
past involving internet predators. And we haven't even got to Jesse's own
made my heart jump a little bit.
Ew. Back in 2017, Jesse operated yet another YouTube channel under his Adexi alias, and its profile image is enough to indicate just how disturbed this page would be, as it shows a boy wearing only a small swimsuit and nothing else, which is a reoccurring theme on this page, as Jesse again shows images of little boys, only this time most of them are shirtless, with many dressed only in a swimsuit or their underwear.
But what's good with like the little boy, like love little boys, gang? It's so weird, bro. Like, what's good with these?
In overtly sexual positions. Along with this, Jesse has images of himself mixed in, where he appears to be completely naked, dressed only in his boyish sunglasses. Now on his Jesse Namajapal channel, I mentioned that he almost appeared to be trying to look younger, and when I was sifting through these videos, I realized that he dressed extremely similarly to many of the children he shows in his photos, like he's trying to copy their look, and pass himself off as one of these kids, despite him obviously being much older. But he takes this even further, as his images are edited to remove any wrinkles or blemishes from his face to give him a more youthful appearance. And he didn't stop there.
It's not working.
As he would also show off pictures of various toys, wear shirts made for little kids, and even wore his own backpack.
First of all, this thing has a Lightning McQueen backpack. That's one.
Wear shirts.
Got a Minion too small shirt,
which for some reason is just so particularly haunting to me, and indicates a clear interest or obsession with these children. Bizarre doesn't even begin to describe it. And missing persons case aside, Jesse Namajapal was pretending to be a child online, and he had been doing it for years. And given that his content is blatantly sexual, it's clear that this is all some sort of fetish. A fetish that involves children, as not only does he share these suggestive images of kids, along with nude photos of himself, but he's also added various edits to some of the photographs that show off his obvious lust for these kids.
So he's missing. This is not missing, bro. This is searching for it. Bro's a kid bounty hunter, bro. If you see this, call the police immediately. Bro, making flip no studio slides. You too old to be dressing like that, Jesse.
As some appear to have been edited to add hearts and various phrases about love, with one even featuring the phrase, "I love you." There's also this strange pattern in this content, one that indicates what may be a portion of Jesse's fetish, as Jesse shares many images of himself with his mouth open and contorted in various unusual positions.
And again, why do y'all EDP, like, same thing with Smart Schoolboy 9, bro? Like, why y'all like be moving y'all tongue in that way? Like, y'all got like half y'all body shocked or paralyzed or something.
While he also has several photos that are cropped to show only images of the children's lips. It's haunting, with the worst example being an image that shows Jesse's own lips alongside someone else. Both of their faces are cropped out, so it's impossible to say who this is, but they look fairly young. This poses a chilling theory. Was Jesse pretending to be a child in order to get closer to other children and potentially groom them? And could this be one of his victims? It's definitely a realistic possibility just based on his content, but the scariest part is that this likely wasn't just being done in the online world. Despite his report saying so, Jesse clearly seems to be older than 18, and given that he's gone by so many different fake names in the past, and he has a history of lying about his age and pretending to be younger, it's very likely that Jesse Namajapal never even existed, and was instead just a persona created in order for him to pose as a child. And interestingly, if you look under his playlist on the Adexi account, you can find a saved video which features 500 of the most common boy names, which he likely used to help create his aliases. And not only was the name Jesse featured within the video, but it's literally shown on the thumbnail. Jesse Namajapal was almost certainly never real. This was all just some sort of manufactured identity, or perhaps one that was even stolen. But it worked so well that somehow the actual government believed it. Which makes me wonder, was Jesse living a full life as a fake child in Denison, Iowa? Was he interacting with other kids, and perhaps even going to school? I mean, he was clearly known in the community well enough to be reported missing. And isn't it quite the coincidence that he just so happened to vanish at the age of 18?
Bro went missing
Maybe
to
he
live out
ran
his
away
fantasy.
because under that alias he was no longer a child, and he did so to start a new life elsewhere where he could further pose as a kid, and engage in whatever disturbed behavior he was engaging in, which he clearly did online at least, as just a few months later he was posing as a child on Twitter. Jesse's life in Iowa is one aspect of this mystery that is still unsolved, and the not knowing terrifies me the most. Who knows what he might have been doing there, and who knows just how embedded in that community he actually was. Suspicious doesn't even begin to describe it. But if this isn't Jesse, then who is this man? Well, as it turns out, despite being considered missing by law enforcement, they might have already unknowingly found him.
Who would let him into the school? I don't know a single soul who would let this into the school. Nobody's like falling for this. You see this right here with the glasses and nigga got the right angle, faded. Nobody's falling for that.
On June 12, 2018, police would enter a home in Round Rock, Texas, where inside they would find and arrest its owner, Pedro.
That's him, nigga. Either that or ex-participant of the Squid Games. No, I might have seen this on Squid Game. I'm not gonna hold game.
Pedro Namajapal, a man who they had caught sharing CP to Instagram. It was the same unique last name and that same adult face, with Pedro even being part of Jesse's aliases in the past, and all of Jesse's aforementioned accounts just so happened to go quiet right before his arrest, meaning in all likelihood, 18-year-old Jesse Namajapal was actually Pedro Namajapal, a 38-year-old man. And all the while he was...
I was a little off, I said 32, but you still chopped this. I ain't gonna lie, the hairline not really hairline, I ain't gonna hold gang, but yeah, you was a freak.
And posting these disturbed videos. He was also collecting and trading CP behind the scenes.
Wow.
And his operation was massive. When police searched Pedro's home, they would find devices containing 604 images of CP,
At least he's
as
out of
well
there,
as
though.
37 videos, most of which showing boys between the ages of 6 to 10 years old.
Wow.
The same exact demographic as the children pictured on Jesse's
445.
channel, which brings up an unsettling theory about the true purpose of the content he posted. Perhaps Jesse, or Pedro, which we'll now be referring to him as, was showing these images in his videos as a way of promoting the CP he collected, to essentially advertise the content he had without raising too much suspicion, with it being possible that the boys
Who's
pictured in
player
his
445
videos
in
were the
Squid
same
Game?
ones
Hold on.
that he had.
I actually want to see who's player 445 in Squid Game. Let me go back to this, bro. Let me go back to this real quick. Yeah, you know what? Just for content's sake, I'm gonna say it's the same. It's the same. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it's the same.
With it being possible that the boys pictured in his videos were the same ones that he had illicit material of, and maybe the positions he showed himself in were indicators of what might have been shown in that material. And when someone wanted to obtain the media, the trades would then be funneled through his Instagram, where he would eventually be caught, as he shared many screenshots from that very same Instagram account within his videos, which clearly displayed his username. It's also possible that Jesse himself was pretending to be a child on these accounts in order to obtain this media directly from other children. It's a horrific possibility, but one that hasn't fully been proven, as to this day we don't have a definitive answer on why he was making these videos. He was posing as a
cosplaying as a shit. Like, yo, you're going to hell, buddy. I ain't gonna lie, gang. I ain't gonna lie, gang. Jail, you gonna keep up that whole little facade, man. There's gonna be for you, bro. I'm not gonna lie, gang. It's cooked for you.
Online. But I think it's fair to say that it was likely to more easily obtain CP and to trick kids into sending it, as well as to collect and share it with other predators. And it brings me back to the question, what was Pedro doing in Iowa? How close did he actually get to the children there? But again, it's something that we just don't know. In fact, we haven't even received an official update on Jesse's missing persons case, which is bizarrely still active on NamUs to this day, and was only recently removed from the Iowa State website, as it seems that for years they never put the pieces together that Jesse was actually Pedro. So to this day, the people that Pedro knew in Iowa might still believe that he was Jesse, and might still believe that he's missing. There's so much gray area with this missing persons case, but recently we were given some potential clarification by a fellow YouTuber, The Internet Investigator, who did a fantastic deep dive into this topic. And in her video, she explains that she got into contact with an anonymous source who had spoken with the Denison police about Jesse's case, and it was explained that officers were actually in the midst of investigating Jesse, or Pedro.
It's crazy because how do you fake your identity? With all these skills that some of y'all weird be having, bro. Y'all could get the craziest jogger all time, bro. These are not skills that have, bro.
When he disappeared, as they suspected that he had been
CIA
collecting
needed
CP,
bro.
and they supposedly went so far as to even interview him before having to let him walk due to a lack of evidence, to which almost immediately after, he disappeared, leaving behind literally everything he owned. Despite the timeline being suspicious, according to the source, Jesse had left in such an abrupt manner that the police officers genuinely believed that he had been killed, perhaps by someone who found out about his online perversions, and they never realized that the man they were looking for technically never even existed. We know now that this clearly isn't the case. In reality, Jesse likely took off for Texas, knowing law enforcement was on his trail, assumed a new identity there, and continued making these unexplained videos and continued trading CP. And while some of this explanation still leaves me with questions, this seems to be the only clarification we're going to get in regards to the missing persons report. But the most important thing was that Jesse was behind bars, with his charges leaving him eligible for up to 10 years in prison.
Only 10
his
years.
official
Gang, you gotta put ironclad chains on this, bro. 10 years ain't enough, gang. We can't have this out, bro. He's gonna be doing the same exact
sentencing was never included in any of the articles. Despite this, it felt as though Pedro's predatory ways were now finally over, at least for the indefinite future, as even upon his release, he was set to be a registered sex offender for life, and would most likely have his internet closely monitored. But strangely, this isn't where our story ends.
Really? What else happened? Another one? This music hard though, hold on. Grown ass man, 30, you're 30! You're 30, you're 30 years old! You're 30 years old doing like this. Yo, these videos really don't look good. You're 30. You're 30 years of age, bro. Like, holy shit. Yo, they got a whole new context on this for the 38-year-old grown man, bro.
The clips began appearing on a YouTube channel called Puxito Chingon, and showed what was clearly Pedro dancing and singing as if nothing had ever happened. And to make matters more disturbing, the videos began appearing in April of 2020, not even 2 full years after his arrest. I couldn't even believe it at first.
It said marshmallow profile pic. And then put the heartbreak emoji. Yo, Cook.
Immediately assumed that this was just someone reusing his old content. But when I dug a bit deeper into his sentencing, I realized that the timeline sadly checks out. In the end, Pedro Namajapal was only ever convicted of 2 counts of CP possession, thanks to him taking a guilty plea deal. And ultimately, he only served 254 days in prison, and was released the following year on February 20th, 2019.
What? That's not even a full year. Bro's out? They really do not take EDPs as serious as they need to, bro. I think you should get more time for being an EDP, bro, than you should for killing somebody. I know that might be controversial, bro, but like, yo, go easy on the young ones, on the little ones, bro. Come on, man.
Now, all of this did carry with it the requirement that he register as a sex offender for life. But this only really matters when you're in the United States, and when you look at his captions, he claims to be in Guatemala, which is where it's believed he was from initially, and where he appears to have returned to, likely as a result of being deported. And now that he's there, there's essentially nothing that law enforcement here in the United States can do to keep him in check, which he's taken full advantage of, as in those same captions where he claims to be in Guatemala, he also claims to be a child, and continues to dress like one.
Bro. Wow.
On his Puxito channel, he continued to refer to himself as Jesse, and continued to show more revealing images of children, with these ones being even more perverse. And he also continues sharing revealing images of himself, with some outright showing him completely naked and exposed, showing off his uncensored genitals. Whatever system of CP trading or child grooming he was doing on his YouTube channels before, he's clearly still doing it, and he's only gotten more brazen.
You got lipstick on?
But as disheartening as this all is, there's something that makes this channel far more disturbing than the others, as throughout his accounts he shared countless images of random young boys. But on this page, it's clear he has a favorite.
Wow, bro. Somebody put a bounty on this? Yo, Zora need to clean that.
His name is Abel, and he appears to be a normal child around the age of 8 to 12. And throughout the Puxito channel, Pedro shares his images more so than seemingly anyone else. But if you compare Abel to all of the other kids featured on his channels, Abel is the only one in which Pedro actually clarifies their connection, as according to Pedro, he and Abel are in a relationship. Jesse Namaja and Abel, united forever in a relationship. This sentence is spelled out over and over again in one of Pedro's videos, while in the background, numerous images of the child are shown, including many in which Pedro has photoshopped their faces together, with more hearts and loving messages, with one even showing both of them together, shirtless. This to me confirms my worst fears.
Jail's not enough no more, bro. You gotta motherfucking no scope this, bro. Bro, you gotta get this off the plane and like wipe him, expunge, expel, like exile, motherfucker, eviscerate. Bro, like it's not enough, gang.
Pedro's online activity. Grooming is definitely a part of it. In fact, he even shares a screenshot from an Instagram account that he created after his arrest, which shows a story of his face along with text saying, Jesse Namaja, I am 16 years old. Putting the pieces together, it seems that Jesse used this Instagram account to lie about his age and get into contact with this child, to which, according to his own words, the two then formed a quote-unquote relationship. It's a horrifying revelation, and one that I tried to explore further by looking into who this child actually was, but I found absolutely nothing. The name Abel is almost certainly an alias given to him by Pedro, as I could find no trace of this child anywhere online.
You kissing the
Certainly
screen.
an alias given to him by Pedro. As
Freaky. Yo, this nigga, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was happy when he said he got caught. I was about to throw something on the grill and like that, just to find this. Like, come on, bro.
I could find no trace of this child anywhere online, with one exception. As when I searched his name here on YouTube, I made a highly disturbing discovery. On a channel simply named Alberto, there are multiple playlists titled Abel's full name, or at least the one that Pedro gave him, and in them, there are hundreds of videos of Abel. These uploads almost always show Abel dancing, often in an extremely sexually charged manner, with these uploads featuring disturbing titles like, I like you so much, and what would you do if I told you my fantasies about you? As well as captions
Yo,
like,
parents at,
check this
bro?
out if what you want is tension.
Where's people as family,
and
bro?
of these videos, the worst examples have been put into their own separate playlist, which is titled, For Fans of the Sensual. I can't necessarily prove it, but I'm convinced that this is the work of Pedro, and that this is all the result of his grooming, based on his blatant obsession and the use of this child's apparent alias. And it's very possible that these videos aren't just a result of his grooming, but this could very well be a glimpse into Pedro's CP trade. I mean, the way that the clips are sectioned off into that playlist, and the way that the captions are worded, it really sounds like he's promoting this, and promoting this as illicit material. And it's obvious that there was an
Yeah, chat, it just goes to show some do not learn from prison, bro. Bro got out of prison and started doing this bullshit. Yeah.
outside
Again,
interest, as these playlists have a combined 10,000 views. I just have a horrible feeling
How many
about this.
views?
Have a combined 10,000 views. I just have a horrible feeling about this, and the most frustrating part to me is that following his arrest, Pedro was labeled as a low risk to reoffend, and the justice system
Low
let him go
risk?
with a slap on the wrist,
Oh my
and because
God.
of this, he was essentially allowed to immediately go back to doing what he was doing before. And it's very possible that even to this day, Pedro is continuing this behavior. However, it's hard to say for sure, as immediately after posting this video in which he announced he and Abel's relationship, Pedro would once again disappear.
Bro.
Since then, there has been essentially no trace of him on the internet, with all of his accounts going silent, and no new ones being discovered. Which isn't too surprising, as while he was posting these videos on the Puxito channel, his story began gaining traction, thanks to the aforementioned Reddit post as well as others made on Facebook. People were starting to catch on to what he was doing, and in turn, he went completely dark. Some believe that he's hiding out in Guatemala living off the grid, while others believe that he's still making these videos and grooming children, and he's just gotten better at covering his tracks. I've even heard it theorized that Pedro might actually be dead, as his trail truly is that cold, though I was able to find one final trace of Pedro that contradicts this to some extent. According to court documents, Pedro had actually been arrested yet again around 2023, as despite being deported years prior, it appears as though he had somehow managed to re-enter the country before being subsequently caught, arrested, and sentenced for illegal re-entry following removal. However, these charges appear to have been dropped after a legal appeal made by Pedro and his lawyer.
As soon as I heard the charge, bro, I was like, oh, yeah, this going, even if he do get arrested, he's gonna be in jail for like a day.
And what happened to Pedro from here is a complete mystery, taking us right back to the
How's he
question
have a
that
lawyer,
started it
bro?
all. Where is this man? And given his knack for disappearing without a trace, and his ability to don new aliases without detection, the truth is that he could be anywhere right now. hiding among us, and I have no doubt that wherever he goes, his online perversions will follow.
Yo, you see this in your area, bro? Y'all might need to call the firing squad for this in GTA, bro.
This is truly one of the most convoluted and strangest cases that I've ever come across, and I feel like there's so much about it that we still don't know, or at least fully understand. Hopefully more of this information will come out in the future.
Yeah, that was a really good Nick Crowley video. I can see why y'all wanted me to watch it. That's you dead, like you cannot let out. There's some people who commit crimes by accident. There's some people who did it on purpose, but then kind of can be rehabilitated. Like that can't. He got out and started doubling down on it. At this point, he's 40, and you're doing like this at the age of 40 years old. Get that the fuck out of here. I'm not going home. If you're watching this on the main channel, Twitch Blue Ride in the description. Come to the stream if you want to watch the full length reaction with no cuts or anything like that. And yeah, we're almost at 200K on this, so go ahead and just follow up even if you're not watching the streams, just cause it's right below and somebody else. But yeah, IBG. All right.